request Prashant to take up the topic, particularly how do you see the cloud fitting into the challenges as the other speakers have pointed out?
Yeah, and I completely agree with I think the last point which came in. I think first I like to highlight is cloud as a term is being used in terms of saying that everybody has their own definition of cloud, and then people are still. I see when we go to government departments and government officials, and we say, "Do you really want to do cloud?" And somewhere they always become terms saying, "Is cloud so complex?" I think we have to demystify that and understand today, even in your own department, somewhere we have deployed some services. Maybe you are already doing some part of the cloud. As I said, I think it's very important to understand that what is cloud today, which part of the cloud is relevant for you, because cloud is not one terminology. Cloud has its own deployment and implementation strategy. Then you want to look at, do I want to set up a private cloud in a government organization? Because today, when we spoke to a gentleman, we are talking about government in education, we are talking about government in civil services, we are talking government today. The government word comes, we are talking about citizen, where citizen-centric services are being rolled out in each and every state and departments. So the biggest challenge is what we are facing from technology perspective is how can we look at standardization across all the states and departments. That's where the bottleneck is coming. How can we really look at quick rollout of services? Because today we talk about any state level MMPs, the hardware has to be procured. That's another long cycle. When the hardware comes in, there's another service to be rolled out. Another set of hardware has to be procured. So can we really look at those kind of initiatives where if there is hardware available in department or state, can then be leveraged or shared by existing departments where a maximum optimization of the utilization can be done. So like sir mentioned that today, if you look at any of the departments or services, the utilization may be only 15% to 20%. It may not be really used across the year. Maybe there are spikes at end of the month or end of the quarter where the utilization goes really high. It's like highways. You build additional lane when you really need them. Unless you have traffic on that particular lane, you really don't have to go for additional lanes. You have existing hardware. Can we really go in terms of leveraging and utilizing the same infrastructure? I'll take one example, which is slightly moving away from the technology, but I can see it as an implementation of the cloud into traffic management. We had one flyover build up in Delhi where I could see that they had only one-way traffic which used to go from people coming from Gurgaon going to workplaces in Delhi, and that used to be a normal mechanism. The traffic department realized when is the peak load happening onto that particular environment. It's morning when the people are going to their workplaces, and it's actually evening when the people are going back to their houses in Gurgaon. What they did, a simple mechanism. They open the traffic in the morning for one direction, they open the traffic for, because it's a one-way flyover, and they open the traffic for another people going back to the organization. So same infrastructure being leveraged for the peak utilization. It's a simple implementation of the cloud, so I like to say that. So I think we have to look at these kind of challenges, how we leverage, how do we do standardization. Security is another big area because there's always a apprehension and the mindset. If I put my data on cloud, does everyone have access to that data, or do I really have control in terms of where the data is being put into the cloud over there? So do I lose control of that data? So these are some of the challenges which come to the